Okay, so what we're
Hey,
gonna
Kim, let
do,
me say
yeah,
something
yeah,
before you
go
get
ahead, go
started,
ahead.
my friend. Um, I see a few names that are on the, as you signed in this morning. I appreciate that. But there's some people that weren't actually registered for the session, and we're okay with that. Maybe somebody shared the, Zoom invitation with you. That's all great. Would you please put your name, first name, last name, and what school district you're with in the chat for us this morning? Thank you so much, everybody. I'm sorry, Kim.
No, that's all
You
right.
should be good to go now.
Okay, all right. So what we're going to do in this session is basically go over the information in the health management. We'll be introducing you how it works, what reports you can go. Well, I don't actually think we're going to get into the reports, but just a reminder to we do want you to attend this session before you attend the setup session, which will be part 2 of the health management. So we'll be just kind of showing you, going through each of the screens and showing you how this all works. And then in 2 weeks, we'll have the setup portion of this. And, we can go through, help everyone set up their own districts to the way that you want it set up. So today we're just going to use our environment. Sometimes in the trainings we have you sign into something, into our environment. Today you can look at yours if you'd like to. You can just follow along, with us so that we can walk you through everything. So, Laura, if you want to bring up student 10294. Yeah, my friend Nicole. And on the left side of your screen, under information, you'll see the health section. Click on that. So we've turned on all the pieces of the health modules, and these can be controlled by you, but you'll see across the top of your screen where you have all the tabs of all the different modules that you can get into and look at. So we're just going to take it piece by piece, go into each one and just kind of explain to you what that piece does. And again, we're just going to give you just a roundabout, way of looking at it. And then if you want it set up a little differently, you can do that on the setup. All right, so let's go into immunizations. Okay, so this is what immunizations are you keeping track of? Some immunizations are optional. You're going to keep track of doses, who gets those immunizations, etc. And then this will all be on your setup portion. But if you take a look here, if you go to, say, the DTP, the diphtheria, tetanus, and pertussis, if you hover over that area, it will tell you the description of the vaccine code, the number of doses needed, is this mandatory, exemption, out of compliance, all these things you will do in the setup. But if you go down each one of those, you'll see that if you hover over each of them, it'll give you an explanation of each one of those immunizations that's set up. Just to keep record, the accuracy of all the doses and that. Now, if you want to see your optional vaccines, you can go to your right of your screen there, display optional vaccines. And if you click on that and say you want to see if they have the COVID-19 or whatever, the hepatitis, doesn't matter, Laura. And then, yeah, then you add that. You'll see those vaccines as optional there. It used to be set up where those would show up automatically, but now you have to go to that display optional vaccines to show those. I think sometimes you get too many on there, and then so they just made it so that you can see the ones that you have already set up and then the optional ones. um, extra. There's also, and down at the bottom here, the vaccine that's out of compliance, doses of compliance and vaccination exempted. You will set those up according to how you want them displayed. So if you have others, those little boxes will show up on the different vaccines. Okay. Am I missing anything, Harley and Laura, that you can think of on the
Oh, no.
immunizations
Just,
portion?
well,
Okay.
just showing them how to enter one would be
Mhm.
that's my next.
Okay. So yeah, if you go to if you go to that DTP and you click on that, right here is where you would enter their vaccines by date. So you can click on whatever date it is. Certification type. Yeah, there's several that you have there to choose from.
And this will all be part of the setup. You will decide what you want in each of these drop downs as we go through these.
Mhm. Here you can exclude from compliance calculations if you want to. I don't know if you use the CVX codes, but you can link those to the CVX codes, which evidently are not imported on this yet,
Yeah,
but that would be
kind of
part of the
something.
setup as well.
Some of the states use those and they use them to help with their compliance. Ohio has not ever been set up for this, so that's probably why they haven't been imported in this test database.
Right. And then, I don't know how your district does it, but once you get the records from your student, you can go in and put their first dose, their second dose, their third dose, whatever is needed according to your local health department.
Mhm. And then before you can
Hmm.
submit, you must always enter for security reasons, a description of the change, whether it's a new record or whether you're just updating something. It always requires something be entered here.
Right. And that is every single time. So every single time that you go in here, it will not let you make any changes without putting a description of the change.
Even if you accidentally enter a wrong date and need to change the date,
Mhm.
it's going to make you say you had to change the date, that sort of thing. It really does a great job of keeping track of who's made changes to this.
Right.
Tries
So
to
yeah,
lock it down. Yep.
I'll try. I'll make a change here to the date and try to. It doesn't even let the submit button appear until something is written down here.
Yeah. So that's a really good safety feature, I feel like.
It
Mhm.
is. Me too.
Yeah.
Mhm. And then, just like many other pages, there's a change history log. So everything that is written, as you add, make correct errors, whatever you may be doing, and you put something down in here, it's going to log it, and I can always come back here and see the different logs.
Mhm. Yes. All right.
Any
So that's good
questions
for
on
you,
immunizations?
nurses.
Yeah. Immunizations, that's the one that we've had ever since we've been in PowerSchool. So I think people are kind of familiar with this one.
Yeah, great. All right, so we'll move right on to screenings then. So as the screening screen pops up, you'll see over to the right, you can add your screenings. So first we're going to go ahead and add a screening. And there's several different ones that they've added to this. Actually, they've added a couple more just recently, and then they've expanded a couple more. So Laura, if you want to go to the lead screening, we'll just show them a basic screening first here. You'll see that when you get to the pop out there, you'll see the screening provider name, which you can put in there. And the screening date. And then the screening provider type, as you drop this down, this is also part of your setup. So you can put any providers in there that you want to. You can put, I don't know, I think it's unlimited or 10 or 12. I'm not exactly sure if they have a limit on it, but you can put as many in there as you want to. I just set this up, just to show you. I put a nurse in there. On your grade levels, there's all your grade levels there. You can pick that. that will default to whatever grade level your student is in that you have pulled up. The screening outcome, you can set that up as well. All these drop downs will be whatever you set up them up to be. And then every one of these has a comment area, which is really nice because I know that nurses like to keep a lot of notes on everything. And I would suggest doing that. Just to comment on all the screenings if you want to put something extra in there that it doesn't offer for you. And then you can save that and it will list down here at the bottom those different screenings that are set up. Now, Laura, if you go back to the ad screening, I just wanted to point out, there are some others, like if you click on vision and color screening, on this one, and they've just kind of updated this one, but they get into very specific things about vision, right eye near test, left eye near test, all of those different drop downs. You can, if you click on that, we'll set those up. Also on this one, as you can see where it says vision and color here at the top, you can expand that box. There you go. Expand that, or you can, you don't have to look at all of it. And you only have to look at what you want to look at. That's what I'm trying to say. In the legacy vision and color, just previous, that's what was on here before. The legacy vision and color, and then yes, the screening outcome. So that's what used to be here. So if you do the new enhanced health, the other options that were above will come up, but this will be what you previously had before the update. Again, there's a comment section down here at the bottom that I know all you nurses will like. So I just kind of wanted to point that one out because it had a little bit more to show and, give those different boxes to open and so on.
This has expanded considerably for those of you. I know there's some of you that have been in PowerSchool for quite a while and are probably just looking at this again for the first time. So it's really big.
Mhm. I think didn't they just recently added that the biometrics, the more to that one as well. So
Yeah, there used to be just 2 or 3 items up there in that whole screening
right,
division that you could actually pull.
right. So that's a good one too if you keep track of those kind of things.
This whole health screen has just become about 100 times more robust than it has been in the past. So
Mhm.
Yeah, I
Right.
believe they had hearing, oral, and scoliosis. And then the smaller version of vision is what I can
Mhm.
remember, the
Mhm.
original.
Yeah, they do keep expanding that. So my guess is that
Mm-hmm.
they'll probably continue to do that as, all the health concerns come along. So,
well, and there was no place to really keep track of, vital signs and biometrics, that sort of
Mm-hmm.
thing. Or even if, you wanted a place to keep track of whether students had physicals and that sort of thing. So health is capable of all of that sort of thing now.
mhm. And then you can also see it does keep track of these. So if you see down here, you have, your lead screening and your hearing screening, you can edit those. And it'll bring up that same pop-up. So if there's something, another comment that you wanted to put in or another screening outcome that you wanted to put in, you can edit those from here. So it does give you a list of what you have added, which is nice. And if you hover over that, it also, brings a quick look at each of those, just like it did in the immunizations. So if you see something on there, oh, I've made a mistake, I need to go in and put this in, or I forgot the left eye test result, you can go in and edit that from there. It's just a quick look up.
I like that you can add the waivers from here as well.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and there might be different reasons why you want to. So if you, click into the vision waiver and, parent requesting the waiver date, you might want to put just the parent name in there. Yeah, mother. Again, it, defaults to that grade level that that student is in. Um, and there's, different waiver reasons. And these are all can be set up by you as well. So, personal reasons or, you know, religious belief or whatever it is that, you want to set those up as. Those will be in your drop down and then again, your comments. Yep. And then it shows, this is your vision waiver and you can edit that at any time. And then if you look at the view, change logs. Oh,
I bet if I would delete one, let me get.
yeah.
Nope.
Hmm.
That. Wonder if we don't have it turned on.
Yeah. So anyway, if you do have that turned on, you can view that change log and it will show you all the different changes. Now this one doesn't, it doesn't force you to do that, that description every time you change something, but it does show you the changes that has been made on the screen. So any questions about screenings? All right. Boy, you guys are quiet this morning. Or should I even say that? I probably shouldn't even say that, should I? All right, so let's move on to office visits. So here's where you can keep track of all the office visits, coming into your clinic or whatever you call your area, the
The
nurse's
secretary's
station,
desk.
secretary, yeah, secretary's desk.
Wherever.
A lot of
right?
times that is who deals with this.
That's
Yes.
right.
All right. So let's go in and go ahead and up at the top here on the right, let's go in and add a visit type. Okay, so we're adding what type of visit? An accident, clinic visit. So whatever you want to add here, you can go ahead and add accident, the visit date, the time in and the time out.
It always defaults to your current date.
Yes.
And your current time whenever I clicked on this,
Right.
just to help you. But
right.
should you need to change that, those are also editable.
And then it just the provider name is whoever's entering this. Provider type, there's the secretary. And again, you fill these in the way you want them set up. There is a box if you've contacted the parent and you want that to be recorded, that is also on there. Under visit reasons, there's, I believe there is an import that you can import the visit reasons in. Am I correct, Laura, on that? These are ones that I have entered in, but you can enter whatever you want here.
Right.
Again, these are just general things that I set these up with, but you can put whatever you want in there. The issue, the visit reason note, there's some notes that you can put there for that. Also on here, again, you can expand. Yeah, Helen Jim, it's good. Okay, and then you can expand these to, if you want to use the vital signs, if you think that's necessary, you can fill in the vital signs here. If you think accident info is necessary, I mean, we are recording an accident, so this would be a good place to put this and keep track of that. And then assessment, maybe what was done, a little note about what had been done, and the outcome, the actions. And these are just kind of standard things too that had been set up. So going home with parent, if there's any other procedure or treatment or action note that you wanted to note, this is a perfect place for this. So this might be.
Yeah, these would all be set up.
Mm-hmm.
You could, some canned answers here that you would just like this, that you would click on.
Yes.
But this is where you could actually just type a text.
Type any note. And I think this is nice for, say your secretary is kind of your quote unquote nurse, there's a lot of good places that she can fill in information here, maybe that, isn't all medical terms, but, some things that she wants to put in, what procedure she did, what was the outcome that she did, which, Laura put in, gave an ice pack. I mean, a lot of times, if the injury isn't severe or whatever, that's a lot of times what the secretary will do. So this is a good place to keep this information. All right. And you can see then that those are listed below. The office visits are listed below. And if you had, several of these, you could also use your filter above. If you, knew your exactly what you were looking for, or your dates, your start dates or your end dates, you could look for that there. And those would come up. So if say you forgot to add an end date, to one of them, you can go ahead and just edit those there. Go in, put your, or in time. Yeah, there you go.
And it's nice because as soon as I clicked in here, you noticed it put it
Yes,
right to current
right.
time.
Right. So
So
you've the student's still in your office, and now everything's done and over. They've gone back to class. Might want to click in there, put your end time on there, save that. That way you can keep track of how long they were in your office
or maybe that's when
or the
mom
clinic,
came to
or
pick her up.
correct. Yeah. So
I think it's
and
nice
again,
to have the time in and time out just so that, everybody can see what time they went in and what time they left. So there's no messing around in the halls, doing that sort of thing
correct.
And
in
I did,
between the
Correct.
visit
yeah.
time, right?
And because I went back in here to edit this, I did have to put a change reason on this one.
Yes, you do.
Good.
And then you should
Good.
be able to see that on the change log.
Mhm. All right. Let's see, anything I'm missing on that?
Laura,
Any
in the
question? Oh,
basic filter, can you type in like accident? Does it defer to just the accidents when you type that in?
Oops. Let me try if I can actually type accident.
mhm,
It sure does.
mhm.
So I think it's going to look for those
Mm-hmm. Keywords.
words,
Yep.
or I can always add another, and then I can, what do I want to look for?
Yep.
So,
Yeah, lots of
Maybe
different
you're
ways
wanting
that
to
you can
know
look
how
up in
many
there.
times this student,
Mhm.
Nicole, has been in for a headache, right? Or
Yeah.
that sort of thing. So,
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah,
I
good
can
way to
come in
keep
and
track
see
of that
your injury.
information.
So, and that's a very good point, Harley, because we do get that a lot. They want to know which ones are coming down for, what's our different reasons down here? How many times has Nicole been in for the clinic this year?
it's
You know,
more for a stomach ache
yeah,
specifically,
yeah.
Right.
right?
And we
Yeah.
do have a lot of people that like to know those things because
Yeah,
it's
I was actually
reoccurring.
out at Tri Rivers not too long ago, and they had a student that had, by the way, every time you record an office visit, it maintains and keeps that office visit. So you could see that, for going on and on and on. So she's like, I think this girl has been in quite a bit for headaches. And I think I really need to, talk to her parents about it. She said, is there a way to filter it? And I'm like, yeah, let's just filter by headache. So it brought it, that group up, and you can tell. There's also some reports we'll get into next time for the next when we do setup about the reports that shows some of that as well. But this is a great way, really at a glance, to see just for headaches how many times that student's been in.
And a lot of time, even in the elementaries, the kids just come in to
Right.
walk around, or just, come into the office because they like to visit the office all the time. You can
Right.
explain to the parent, hey, your son or daughter has been in here, 10 times this month for a headache. Maybe you should, take him to go
Right.
get
But
check their
maybe it's
eyes out
been
or
10 times for a headache and it's always third period math class.
right,
So that
right.
you could kind of tell that sort of thing as well. So that happens.
All right, any questions about office visits and how to keep track of those? No questions. Wow. All righty, let's move on then. Grade level entry certifications. All right, so the state of Ohio requires certain things for grade levels, but they don't track it through the state. Um, so, I would assume most of you track through your local health departments. It's just if you click on that add grade level, you'll see there that we've set this up where, you know, was this pre-K? Was set up for 1 dose of Tdap or TD must be administered prior to the entry of 7th grade. So it's 7th grade, not pre-K. But you set these up the way, the way that they're supposed to, the guidelines, I guess, that are required by your local health department. Some of you may not even choose to set this up because our state doesn't track it, but I know that many feel that it is important to track it through the local health department. And another good thing is, your secretaries, if they're looking through this, or anybody, your staff that's looking through this, they can tell that this student, did have, the dose of the Tdap or that needed administered prior to 7th grade. So your certification status will need set up, the name of this certifier and the last name of the certifier, and then the certification date, and then any comment that refers back to this certification. So again, this may be something that you want to use, maybe something that you don't want to use, but it is a good way to look at, once it's set up, you don't have to, you can just go in here and say, okay, this is what they need prior to kindergarten. And yes, they do have this.
For me, I think it's a good way for maybe the office secretary or somebody who's not a nurse to keep track of what's needed by grade level. Like I could go in and see what's needed for grade 7, that sort of thing. Or what do
Right.
all do I need if a parent calls in and says, hey, what is required for kindergarten? I could go in and find that out. So
Right. And they do call, I mean, on my previous employment, I worked in elementary school, and a lot of times parents don't know, especially those parents that have those preschoolers coming into kindergarten.
right.
I'm not sure I have all my immunizations that I need. So this is a good way to just look at that. This is what you need prior to coming to kindergarten. So. All right. Any questions about that? Okay, let's move on to health plans. I feel like health plans is kind of a biggie.
And it's new. Some of
it's
you
new.
may not,
Yes.
if you have not visited the health pages in a few years, you may, these 4 things were kind of out of the box original when we went to PowerSchool. The rest of these are all the newer ones that was added maybe 4 years ago, Harley?
Yeah,
Something like that?
probably. And then even since then, they've been added to. It's
Yes.
about 4 years ago, I would say you're right, Laura. And then they just keep adding to each piece of this, which is awesome. So
And the health plans is a way you can monitor, track students that have a medical condition or any other health issues that your staff should know about. So it's very, very good. So, all right. So there's 2 ways you can do it. You can, once you add this health plan. So Laura, if you want to go up there and click add. You can do this 2 different ways. You can set up a generic template, and that's in part of your setup that you'll learn about in a couple weeks. Or you can set up by a student basis as well. But if you do want to add a template, here is where you would see that. I went ahead. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say this is wonderful. We have some districts who have really embraced this. They have an asthma health plan, they have a diabetic health plan, they have a oh gosh, what's some others? Seizure health plan with just and they've already created this template with this generic information that just talks about that particular health issue.
Right, and it does save a lot of time.
Mhm.
A lot of time, a lot of, typing in all this information that's can already be there and already set up for you. So actually, Laura, if you want to go out to the student, and I've already um, created or put her health plan on there. So if you want to click on that asthma healthcare plan, just show you how I kind of set it up. Um, I did, I used the template. So all of this information in the description was already filled in. I entered a start date. Under the status here, you can start this draft and maybe you aren't finished with it yet and you don't really want people to look at it yet, but you want to come back to it. You can under your status, you can just make this a draft and you can come back to it and finish it later. If you do mark completed, which I have here, that means their teachers can see this. So once you mark completed, they can see this healthcare plan and they can review it at any time. Once you put ended, it will not show for those teachers. So they will not be able to see it. Under the details down here, there's lots and lots and lots you can do down here. You can add really whatever you want. I just, I put in that I met with the parent on 8/24, put my initials, and I just put kind of their requests for this, you know, any instructions that they might need, you can color code it, you can add pictures. I kind of added this little syringe up at the top there just really to show that you can add those. You can set this up however you want. Um, you know, you can
Very, yeah. It's just very nice because the top part was your generic, here's
Mhm,
how to treat asthma and things like that. But then, you have this area where you can put individual things just about this particular student.
mhm.
Maybe the doctor sends a list of things,
Yeah,
that they
that you
want
can
you to
copy.
follow for this particular student or for all your students for that matter, but
Hmm.
you can copy and paste that into here.
Yes.
So many things you can do with this piece.
Yes. And I did play around with it a little bit, and the best way to get things, if a doctor would provide something like that, is to copy and paste it in here.
Hmm.
There's lots of those different details up here that you can use, the bold, I think you can insert a link, um, things like that. But copy and paste does seem to be the best way that you can, that I found when I was playing around with it, to put the information in here that was given to you by, a clinic or something. Once you put this on here,
We do have a question here real quick.
okay.
If we have a note from the doctor, how do you copy and paste from a scanned document?
So well, there's a couple different ways that you can do that, but the best way that I found is to go to that document, copy it, control C, put it in here with control V, and the information comes
Yeah.
right in here.
And that works
Um,
best
that does
with
work best.
electronic, but yeah, with a scanned document, sometimes it's going to be one of those if you have something that you can cut and paste. I mean, I know I have what the heck is my program?
We cut and pasted the image at the top in and had no trouble with the shot image.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
Cindy, when you're saying unfortunately with an image it doesn't work, we haven't seen that. So I haven't had that occur.
Like I have a program called Snagit that I can like highlight over something and copy it and save it as a picture or a PDF or things like that. So if you have programs like that, but that is a problem if you've scanned the image in and you didn't get it electronic, sometimes it is hard to copy and
Yep.
paste. That is very true.
Yeah, we did, I did try several different ways to do that, and it is temperamental a little bit on those images. Um, but I eventually got it to copy over. I don't know. I don't think in a document that does come over. All right. Um, so once that is saved, you'll see down here where, this student has an asthma healthcare plan. On the start date, the status is completed. So now the teachers can see this healthcare plan. So if you see over here where it says read receipts, if you click on that, you can see where, obviously none of these teachers have read the receipts, but you will see which one, all the teachers that this student is set up with, the date they read it, what version they read, and you can see that at any time. So if if you choose to have your teachers, you need to go in, you need to make sure that the health plans has been viewed. Right here is where you can tell if they've read
Right.
those receipts.
Soon as when you do, that's the night. I feel like a nice thing about this is that this health plan was added. Once she marked it as completed,
Mhm.
the teachers get the email and letting them know that there's a health plan that they need to read.
Mhm.
And they can go and read it. And then once they read it, you know that they have read it now. And you have, the documentation here.
Mhm.
Back to the copy and paste feature, just really quick. Danielle said that she's copy and pasted into a Word document, and from that document, been able to copy and paste into the health plan. That's how I always do it too, Danielle, and I've never had any issues. And that's how Kim and I worked Friday on just getting that shot in there. And I'm like, let's just, it's in a Word. Let's just take it and copy and paste it into here and make it easy. And that's exactly what we did. So if
Yes.
ever you're having trouble, Cindy, let me know, or just put a case
Yeah.
into us,
Yeah.
and we'll take that and see if we can get it into the document for you.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So once this is
Yeah.
set up too, this also creates an alert. So if you go up there at the top there and you click on that alert, health alert, there you go.
This is the medical.
You'll be able to see the health plans that's in there. And then you can also click on view plans and it will bring that plan right up for you.
Yeah, this is nice then for your other admins. Users, very easy for them to see the plans.
Yeah. So it's just kind of a good easy way to get without going into her full health screens and that. So
yeah, very nice. Just added it right to the out of the box medical alert.
Yep.
Because there's the other alerts that we have put, and then the plan now appears. Very nice.
Okay, so any other questions about health plans? All right. Hopefully you can get those documents set up because that's a really good resource for that. Okay. All right. We can move on to monitoring then. So monitoring here, it refers specifically to diabetic monitoring. If you click add there, you will see that you can set up, your blood glucose, your ketones, your carbs at meals. If you click on the blood glucose and you click actual, you'll see that on the right there, it clicks up, you could put the actual level in there. If you click on low or high, it just says low or high. There's not another box that comes up there. You can do, your urine. You can do the trace, the carbs, if you're keeping track of carbs, meals, what your pump reads. I'm not an expert on the diabetes monitoring, but I'm sure that there's some things in there that that you may want to, add numbers. What kind of snacks that you gave the student, if that was necessary. And then again, you have those notes there at the bottom that you can put extra things in there that maybe you wanted to keep track of. And if you see at the very bottom, you'll see pending or complete. that will show if you've already done it, you can go ahead and do the complete and submit. And that will show. Also, I had set this up earlier. This is something that I set up under our schedule. So if you want to schedule monitoring every day, this student I scheduled for monitoring every day from 2:21 to 5:19 to the end of the school year. Every day at 11 o'clock, the student needs to come into my office and have a diabetes monitoring. This will only do in session days if you have that check marked. Say you have a preschool student or a kindergarten student that doesn't come every day of the week, you can just your frequency, maybe they only come Monday, Wednesday, Friday. You can click just Monday, Wednesday, Friday that you want this monitoring to show up for the student. But this is all, set up according to what you would like them to do and what days they're there at school and what days you need to monitor. So that's kind of a nice thing. And then it lists them here. And then once you get your list here, say it's 5:19, if you click on that date, there's the one that we just did. So your glucose was low, you put in all that information. This is a quick look at that date.
Mhm. And this is what will appear, we'll show you here in a little bit, out on the health
Health
management,
management.
not on an individual student, but there's a way you can say, okay, here's today, what all do I have to do? And it would list any student you had scheduled for something
Mhm.
and as a reminder. And we'll show you that here in a bit.
I
Yeah.
love that part.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so nice.
If I have stuff set up, it just shows me what I
Yep.
have to do every day.
Yeah. So if we want to go take a look at that right now, we can go
Okay.
ahead and go to the start page. And then again on your left there under the functions is the health management. Maybe. It's raining today, so it might take a little bit
Mhm.
longer, right? All right, so here's where, again, I've added some specific ones in there, but you can see here listed, all of the day, what we need to do today. We need, Nicole's going to come in and have medication. May need more frequently. I mean, we could put that under office visits, but these are the things that we have set up for a specific time for today, and then it lists those things for those students. Now over to the right there, under actions, you can find the student. You can see where the student is right now. That she's in Miss Midcap's room right now.
Yep, so you could get a hold of her more easily, right?
Right.
Mhm.
And then if you click the chair, you can see if she's here today. The student, if the student was absent, this in not showing up at 9:45 or whatever she's supposed to come in, you can find here, okay, she's absent, so she doesn't need her monitoring today.
Mhm.
What I love best about this report is the status. So if it's sitting out here in a pending status, that means I haven't taken care of it yet.
Mhm. And I can
Still pending.
sort by any of these.
I love that.
Mhm.
So yeah. So let me bring all of my pendings to the top.
I'm all
Mhm.
about my to-do list. So that lets me
Mhm.
know what I still have to do today. What's
Right.
going on.
Nice
Yep.
to bring this
And
up first thing in the
right.
morning. This
Mhm.
is what I have to do.
And it's going to show, anytime an office visit is going to be added here too, not just the things that I've scheduled, but everything that's happened that day. So as a nurse, I can come in here and say, oh, that's right, I needed to go down and monitor Nicole today at 11. So it's in my list. I can click right. I don't have to go to Nicole's page. I can come right here and click on it
Mhm.
and enter the information for
Yep.
Nicole.
Yep. Quick access, another quick access.
Mhm.
All right. And also at the top, you can, filter those again, the way that we filtered before, same idea there. Start date, end date, basic filters, enrollment, the activity. And it will just bring up those. Okay. So let's go back to our health screen on Nicole. All right, medications. Or any questions on these the monitoring?
To schedule it, it is very easy. If
Mhm.
this was medication, even,
All right, let's move on to medication.
Because this is a big one. This is huge.
mhm.
Okay, so what we need to do here is this will give you a list of medications that she is taking that has been brought in for her, similar to monitoring, but it's tracking the medication that she's taking. Um, so if you so you can see here, I do have one, set up that I have already set up. But if you click add up here at the top, so say, parents came in, the student's now on, a medication that they have to take daily at lunchtime. Here's where you can add that information, the start date, the end date, the time. Um, a lot of students take their medication around the lunch hour. Medication category there. This will all be on your setup. Medications listed. I just set up aspirin. The dosage, maybe one dose. Tablet, capsules, there's a lot of units there. The route, orally, maybe, a injection, whatever. The frequency, it's also something that's all set up by you. And the primary reason for giving that medication. Right, and any notes that you want to add. All right.
Just one little quick note.
All right. So you can see there, then it lists, and I failed to put in a different medications, but you can go in there and add. So what you want to do is you're going to want to click into that medication. You're going to want to add some inventory to the medication to keep track of how many pills or how many capsules or whatever that mother or father or whoever brought in. So if you click on that inventory, you can see that in this one, the inventory is not added. So you want to add. And right here's where you add the inventory. So the dose again is only one tablet. That's only what you're giving it per time that they come in. How did you receive those today to add the inventory? Any expiration date? Yeah, there's several things in your drop down there. The staff will automatically go to whoever's putting this information in. Term and then any notes there. So now you can see that your inventory has been added. You have 10 pills added here. And so you'll see that the dosage, everything here is what you've just previously entered. All right, so you'll see that the inventory is 10. If you go on doses, You can see that that is set up as well, and you can add doses to that, the time given. You gave them 1 tablet. The status was you administered that tablet, and then any notes that go along with that. Now you can see on this that your inventory has automatically gone down to 9 pills. So that's how you can keep track of that. Um, as you saw before too, if you dropped a pill on the floor or you lost it, just not sure what happened. There are different drop downs here on the status that you can
Oh,
put
wait,
that in. That way you can
that,
keep
that,
track.
I'm sorry, I put it in the wrong place. I need to go to, that was giving them the dose inventory. I could have said I dropped some here, correct?
Yeah, because that way you're
Maybe I
not
dropped 2
actually giving
pills.
it to the student, right?
They were damaged or
Or
lost or
lost or
returned. Maybe we
mhm.
gave them back at the end of the, I gave them back
School year.
all the rest of them. She only needed 1 that week. I gave the rest back to the mom so I could say returned and then put a note. This is just a nice way to keep track of medication and what has been happening and when we gave them to them, what happened to them. And that was something I always worried about, was keeping track of my medication. Now I don't have to do it in a little tablet sitting on the counter, or that type of thing. We can actually keep track when medication's brought in, when it's given, and when it's returned, all in here.
So when it's talking about that aspirin and everything, your medication might not be listed as just aspirin. When you do your import, there are
Mhm.
literally thousands and thousands of medications that you can import. And some are like, I think Tiffany had asked a question, because some are like aspirin 325, aspirin 650. That you could add, or you can just do aspirin 325 and then put down that you gave them 2 doses, which equates to that 650.
Yeah.
So yes,
So
there are ways to keep track of that.
yeah, and right here you can also, remember, these are all created by you.
Mhm.
So you could put in, we have milliliter, but you could have an mg and then put 325 is 1 dosage.
Mhm.
So yes, these units, this is just what we had put in here at the moment. But when you set this up, you will decide what you need as units.
They give you lots of ways to keep track
Mhm.
of it. I guess that's the best answer to give there, because they really, Tiffany, do try to give you the most options they can.
Okay, so I could have,
Yeah, we do have some districts that set it up like that. Like the dosage is the milligrams and then they, give them that way. Then we have others that set them up the other way. So yeah, there again, this is just it's going to be personal to your district. How do
right.
you want to
And
set
it's
that up?
and different medication you're going to track differently. Some are
Right.
going to be 1 tablet. Some are going to, you may want to actually put the 325 mg in.
You might have milliliters, you might be doing drops for
Mhm.
ears, but it depends, right? So
Mhm. Mhm.
I just think this piece is very powerful, and it was one of my favorite features they added.
yeah, we didn't used to have a way to track medications or health plans at all. I mean, to me, this became vital. I know a lot of people were paying extra dollars for third-party vendor applications, just to keep track of the medications. And once PowerSchool brought this out, it took the need away for a lot of you, um, for that piece to have to purchase and pay for a separate third-party vendor.
Correct. Yeah, we kind of saved some money here since this has been added. So yeah, real nice way of keeping track of medication. Okay, any other questions? All right. Let's look at health concerns. All right, so the health concerns portion helps keep track of major health concerns or something not so major that you want to keep track of, in there in the system. All right, so maybe go ahead and add there. We can show them. All right, so your health concerns, maybe it's one of these. Again, you can set up any health concern. You could set up hundreds of them if you want to. But these are just generalized health concerns that maybe a student would come in with. And excuse me. So over here to the right, you can also show this in your alert. So previously, when we went to that health alert, we were able to see the health plans and everything. This will now show in your alert if you want it to. Start date and the end date, like all the others. Current form there. And then any comments that you'd like to show. And then you can also show these comments in the alert if you want it to show. See? All right, and then you'll see down there a list of those health concerns automatically pop up. You can, again, edit those at any time. So if you put in the wrong start date or you don't want it to now show in the alert, you can edit that there and save it. And again, this will be however you want it to set it up. If you want to make it, like just the major health concerns, you can do that. If you want to just put, minor things in there, you can do that as well. And then yes, in this alert, you can see over to the right-hand side, you can, if you do the view concerns, it comes right to that screen. So you don't have to go through her whole health setup to see that. That's kind of a nice feature.
Mhm.
Oh. Right. Any questions on health concerns? Moving right along.
You guys are very quiet.
Very quiet today. All right. It's that Monday morning thing, I think. It's
I
kicking
think
in.
so.
All right. So on the physical tab there. Oh,
I do want to, I just happened
okay.
to think of something.
Okay.
I saw this on another screen too, and I forgot to mention it. This show all, you'll see this kind of like on the contacts page, and it's another type of thing. But if we were to end one of these, it doesn't like delete it. It won't show up here any longer, but you would see a +1 here.
Correct.
And then I could say show all, and I could see any maybe that had been, had ended as well. They're still there. They just don't display them right out of the box. You just have to say, oh, they have one that's no longer active. I can click on it and see what it was.
I did see that as well on the other screen. I meant to point that out.
Yeah.
Just forgot to skip right over it.
I could even just show you here real quick. Let's go ahead and end the one I put in. Now you see I have a +1. It's no longer appearing here, but I have a +1 to know that there's something that had ended, and I can click that and it will show it again.
Yes, I'm glad you pointed that out, Laura. I forgot that on the previous screen. All right, good information.
I think where that really applies is on the health plans too.
Yes.
Because a lot of times those, we do end a health plan.
Correct.
And it's good to know that you can still see those health plans even later.
And medication too.
Yep.
That's a good one for medication as well. So. All right. All right, physical. So if you keep track of students' physicals, this would be a good place that you could do that to keep a log. If you add right there, you can see that you can, keep the physical date on there. Concussion form sign. This is a very good one. I know that, some sports, you need to keep that concussion form assigned, not signed form, concussion form sign on by date. And want to make sure that that's already updated. The conduct sign, you can keep that here. You can put the height, weight, blood pressure, the examiner, any restrictions here. Maybe a student is restricted from phys ed for, a certain day or something like that. You can keep restrictions here for an amount of time. And then any referrals and any comments. Very, very good one to keep track of the concussion stuff, if your district does that. And again, you can filter, you can search for something specific. You can look at those comments, you can edit here. Just whatever your district needs to work with. It's all right here for the physicals. All right, move on to PE waiver. I guess this is more where you would keep track of if someone was not able to, go to phys ed.
Right. Not
But
the
here's the specific,
ed-
this is
not the
this,
educational side of
right.
PE waiver that they, this
Right.
is truly they can't participate.
Right. This does not waive the credit. It is not the same thing as Ohio's PE waiver. This is just if there's a doctor's note, the teachers can see this doctor's note, or that the student does have a PE waiver. That way they'll know, the comment, they'll see the comments. They'll see this on the teacher's portal. But again, this is not linked up with Ohio's PE waiver. And basic information here, just start date, end date, excused by, any comments, nothing real lengthy here. Just basic information. And same thing again, same kind of screen. You can edit, you can monitor, and you can, they'll see the start dates and end dates.
And we had a question. Is the staff alerted via email when a new alert or waiver is posted? And I believe, that's a good
know.
question.
That
I
is a
believe
good
the
question.
PE, if the PE teacher is identified as the PE teacher, they do get that. Harley, do you remember?
I think they're just trying to say if there's a new alert that comes up for any one of these kids, does anybody in staff get notified that there's a new alert on a student? And the answer to that is no.
No.
There's just a new
Check.
alert that appears at the top on the alert line for that student.
Yeah. And teachers do see that on the attendance, the different alerts on the attendance page. They'll have any alerts for any individual students.
Right.
But yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, there's nothing that will say, hey, there's a new one for Johnny.
Right.
No.
But if Johnny comes up and says, hey, I don't think I'm supposed to take, PE today, that's where then you can look and say, oh, okay, yeah, I see that waiver there. All right. Any other questions regarding the PE waiver? Pretty basic information that you fill in there. So, all right, contact log. All right, so the functionality of this is if you add there, you can see that you're just keeping track of anyone that you've had contact with. You would set up these groups. So if there's more that you want to set up, you could definitely do so. But if you have contact with someone, say a family member, that family member wanted just a general question, if you wanted to keep track of this, I know some of you think, oh my goodness, I can't keep track of every single person that I have contact with regarding this student, but this would be, this would be up to your district, however you do that. you could just fill in this information here, and at least you would be able to have it on file where you have kept in contact with them. Mhm. Yeah. Then it would give you the list of all those times that you have had contact with that parent or, medical provider or whoever it is
Yeah,
that you
she
want to.
has
Mhm.
diabetes. Maybe you had a conversation with her doctor,
Right.
you know, those types of things you can track here.
All right. And then
Trying to think there was, yeah, so there
there's
was like a
something else.
medical professional.
Mhm.
And once again, maybe this was for medical advice.
Right.
You can
Or
add
something
these
else.
types of
Mhm.
things that you may want to do.
Right. Right. And we'll see that on setup when
Mm.
we go to set all of that up. Mhm. And again, you can edit those or, go back and filter for what you need. So, all right. Last but not least, the other category. And this other, it's just general text boxes for information to track things that other tabs don't track. Um, if you see, I mean, I don't know how many districts actually keep track of insurances, insurance and the health and, needs that they need help finding a healthcare provider. Some other information is, I know on here it does have a bus protocol, I believe. Yeah, bus protocol down here. Maybe you want to enter that information there. I did research this a little bit in this other tab. It really doesn't show up anywhere else. You would have to click into this other category to view these plans. If you wanted to add, say, bus protocol or notes, anything here, you would have to click into this other category to see those. So it's just kind of, like I said, general boxes to track things that the other tabs don't track. Anything that you want to keep track of separately. All right. Are there any questions about that, or the other category, or anything overall that we need some clarification on? Again, I know that the setup portion of this health management is scheduled for 2 weeks from today, or well, I believe March 13th. Am I right? Guys, I'm
Oh, I don't
pretty
know. Hold
sure
on
it's
one
March
second. I have it.
13th. Yes, yeah,
Yes.
March 13th. Yeah. So in that session, we will be setting up a lot of those drop downs and we'll go over that. And, I encourage you to get on your own environment and,
Be
maybe
thinking
think
about what you
about some,
want.
yeah, thinking about the things that you want, how you would like to set up or what you would like to keep track of and monitor and what's most important to your district.
There's a lot of information out there on that, the metasolutions.net website in that training documentation that we showed earlier.
Yeah.
So be sure maybe before the next session that you're kind of going through that. There's also on our YouTube, the Meta YouTube channel, some previously recorded things regarding setup, that sort of thing. If you're kind of interested in looking at it ahead of time, you're welcome to. I'm going to really quick, I'll cut and paste that website information into the chat here for us.
These, as we talked about, I went back out to the training material, these in that folder, health code sets. So these are some things that they have out here. PowerSchool has provided some basic information, and I'm going to first show you the like a medication. And what this is it's an import template that we can import all of these medications in for you. As you can see, if you can see over here, there are thousands. I'm not sure exactly how many they have. It
Lots and
may
lots.
be something you want to download and be thinking about, and I don't want all of these, and maybe deleting things that you are never using, have never used. Doesn't mean you can't add it later. If for some reason a student comes in and now all of a sudden this medication is needed, you can always add them one by one. But I would suggest you probably don't want to import this whole file. So this might be some homework for you too, to kind of glance through and, you know what, we're never going to use this piece of medication, and start getting rid of some and make it more of a manageable list. And then we can help you. We'll go through how to import these things.
Yeah, it can be a bear the first time you really look at it and try to do all of it. That's one of the reasons why we just wanted to go over the stuff today, let you guys see what all you can bring in, and then you guys can make an informed decision about what you do want to bring over, right?
Mhm.
Right.
Mhm.
And it talks about, you know, some of the different setup in here, and like health code setups, and
Mhm.
you know, once again, these are items that can be imported in. Sometimes it's an import is better, like you saw with that medication list. You're going to have quite a few, but some of these health code setups, you know, I'm only going to put in a few things, so it's sometimes easier to enter them by hand, and we'll show you both methods next time.
Mhm. And then once you get used to that health setup too, you may find that you're not using some things, that you've put in there, and you can go in and take those out and put, the ones that you use more often, so a lot of those code sets.
And we'll import these through the biggest thing that most people import is this medications,
Mhm.
once they've narrowed it down some, and we'll import them through the data import manager. And there's directions here, and we'll also, like I said, walk through that.
Mhm.
But I think homework to just kind of think about looking at, as we just did here, and you know in each of these drop downs, what kind of things am I going to want in my drop downs? If we go to an office visit, let's say,
Mhm.
just kind of be thinking about this. All right, if I create a new one, what kind of visit types am I going to want to have? Am I going to want to have kind of just very general ones, or do I want to break it down and into more specific things? I know some have it, broken down very, just a diabetes check. They have, a clinic for an accident one, and maybe a head lice check. They break it down to very specific things as well. So that's kind of up to you. How detailed do you want to break these down? Any of these drop downs. This is kind of I'm going to say this is pretty basic, like a lot of people have about this many. What kind of provider type? Any of these drop downs, once again, is what you decide. How, they also had a visit reason of the lice, the nausea, seizures. This can be as detailed or as, generic as you want this. Some choose to be very detailed here. Others, choose to be a little more and have them put, I guess, notes maybe in as to be more details. They would rather them write something here than to be able to just, choose sore throat type of thing. So those are the setup pieces. Everything that you see in these drop downs, you will decide what you want put in them. So there's quite a bit.
I posted the YouTube video out there for everybody, how to get to the YouTube videos, and there's several. There's health management, importing health code sets, as well as the enhanced health setup overview. So there's several pieces to it. They're labeled under the health piece.
Okay, and someone asked another medication question. Absolutely. What do you have, Tiffany? And you can even take yourself off mute if it'd be easier.
That would be easier.
Yeah.
But you didn't type in all that.
So we have been kind of piloting the medication tab in a few of our clinics before we like really go live. And one person came across a BID, so a twice a day med, same medication. So when she entered it, it would only let her pick one time. So then she had to enter it twice, but then her inventory, she had to split even though it was the same medication. Is there a fix for that? Is there a way to put in a med BID with 2 administration times so that our inventory doesn't have to be wonky between like 2 entries?
So they're taking it twice a day. Is that what I'm hearing?
Right.
So if I would go
So
to doses,
the only way that we could, our workaround was to enter it 2 times, to enter it as 2 different medications, like 2 different entries. But then the inventory is not
right.
well tracked.
All right, let's see if I added one. Oh, because of the time here?
Yeah, so but down at the bottom where it says frequency, it'll let you pick BID.
Okay.
And then, but it doesn't give you 2 time slots. So if you have a med that's twice a day that is the same med, and you only
Okay. I see what
inventory
you're saying.
one, then the other inventory shows a 0, but really it's not.
Oh. I guess I'm thinking through your question here.
Yeah.
So dosage, we're just going to put down something here. And I don't believe you have to put a time.
But then it won't show up as scheduled. So this is a scheduled med.
She scheduled it for like Laura 9 o'clock and then 2 o'clock.
Right.
Okay. Let me try.
I totally get what you're saying. So subtracting
I totally, yes.
the first time. So it's subtracting both because it's saying twice a day. So it's subtracting both.
Well, we
doses?
wanted to, because as it is now, we had to put it in for 9, let's say 9 a.m. and 2 p.m.
Yeah.
Then you have to take, so if mom brings in 23 pills, you have to put 13 under 9 a.m. and 10 under 2 p.m. Does that make sense? Like, is there a way where you can do a 2 time slot for a BID med or a multiple time slot for a TID, or, however many times a day, that the inventory then won't have to be split like that?
Okay. I'm just playing here and trying something. Oh, I was thinking, because I was thinking if I didn't put a time when I go to the.
Well, then I worry that it won't show up in that health management.
Yeah, right. That's what I was thinking too. Then is it going to show if I don't have a time? This is a
That's
great
what I'm
question,
looking.
Tiffany. I don't know the answer to this one, but we'll mess with it till we can figure it out.
All right, there's my stump you contribution for the day.
That's
Thanks
a good
a
stumper.
lot, Tiffany. No, seriously, you guys work in it every day, so you see it far more often than we do.
And think of things that we don't.
We
would not think of. Excuse me, and I don't see it.
That might be something great, Tiffany, for us to take back and ask to, Jason Springle did a whole from PowerSchool, did a whole training module on this. I don't know that he ever talked about that or covered that, honestly.
Yeah, I don't believe so. That's a good one. Yeah.
I mean, I went to here now to her, but you're right. It didn't show up on the monitoring or page there, but here I could, and then I could have came in and said she received. Oops.
Yeah, what she's asking totally makes sense, but
absolutely
yeah, it does.
Yeah. I wonder if you couldn't set something up on the dosage that or on the medication that would make a difference for that somehow. Gotta think about that. But Tiffany, will you have your district leader. Who is your district leader? Do you know? PowerSchool.
That would be me, Harley.
Comments?
All right. Cindy, will you put a case in for that?
Yeah.
And we'll look into it, even if we have to get to Power, maybe ask PowerSchool about that. Cause I'm sure if Tiffany
Mhm.
has that question, others
Yeah.
have had that question. So we'll see what we can
Absolutely, Laura. I'm
discover
happy
for
to
them.
do that.
Yep.
Yeah,
Thank you. We
sure.
appreciate that, Cindy. Thank you.
That's yeah, because I could add monitoring, but that's not for the
Right.
medication.
Well, and I was trying to kind of think of a way through that through code sets, like when
Mhm.
you're putting in the actual, because I know you can customize some of those medications if you need to, but I was like, how would that even work? So I'm not
Right.
sure.
Mhm.
Very good question. I'm going to jot myself a note
Yeah.
to investigate that some.
Yeah, I did that as well, Laura. And I was just kind of looking in the setup to see if there was anything on that, you know, the BID or the that to see if there could be
Yeah,
anything you
the
could set
dosage.
up.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Twice
the
a day,
dosage.
once versus
Yeah.
once a day. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a very, very good issue.
Okay, Tiffany, you get
Work
the
on.
star today for
Yep.
stumping the. We'll see what we can discover for you, though.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I'm sure there's more where that came from. So
That's okay. If you guys have
Absolutely.
questions, always ask, because we're not the health experts. We can tell you what we know from setting it up in the past. But we don't use it every day, right?
Mhm.
That's not really our job. So we don't go in and have to enter this stuff for the kids. We don't always see the little quirky things like that that might be causing some issues. I don't mind admitting that. We are definitely
Right.
not the experts who are in this stuff every day we're using it. That's not what we do.
Okay.
All right. Anybody else want to try to stump the trainers?
Yeah, things you're thinking about, yeah, please let us know. And we'll see what we, if we don't know it off the top of our head here, we will definitely look into it.
Mhm.
And in the meantime, if you have questions before we get to the setup day, how would this work or what could I do? Be sure and have your district leader put a case in, and we'll be happy to, answer the
Yeah.
questions or find out an answer for you like we need to with Tiffany.
Yeah, we decided the best thing to do was to kind of break this into two, just so people who aren't familiar with the screens at all can have an idea of what there is. And then it gives you a little time to, find the information you need before setup.
Yeah, some people have never seen all the screens and everything it can do. So we just decided it would be best to show the screens and let you know what all it can do and what it's capable of doing, and let you guys make an informed decision about then what you do want to set up. So if there's no questions, if you have any in the meantime, be sure and put something, have a case put in by your district leader. And we'll get back with you about what the question is. And if there's no questions, I think everybody's good to go for the day. Enjoy your Monday, the rest of your Monday.
Thank you, ladies.
Yes. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
You
Thank
are
you
so
guys. Happy
welcome.
Monday.
Hey, Laura.